I like myself. I like what I bring to the table. I like how I treat the people I love and care for. I like how I treat strangers generally. Unless you're a kid trick-or-treating and looking through my window. I like how the people in my life treat me. I think I get the respect I deserve from those that I want it from. I like my skill set. I've had a lot of failures in my career and career choices, but I like what I've done. And though sometimes I feel as though I've underachieved and a lot of my career has been underwhelming, I also wouldn't trade all the experiences I've had. I like that. Those are positive thoughts, right? And why don't I love myself? That's what's on the docket for this week. That's what's ahead of me for the next 7 days. I'm Ken Napzok. This is a Monday morning show. This is a reflective, ruminating, slow roasting podcast where I sit down sometimes in a bathrobe, sometimes with actual coffee, sometimes with actual whiskey, but today actual water. Nature's whiskey. And I ask myself the big questions because where I'm at, and especially where I'm at heading into this week, might be where you're at. And that's where I'm at. It sounds bigger than it is. I want to start there. What I'm saying, I'm asking, how come I don't love myself? Man, that's kind of tragic. That's kind of big. But I want to say up top here, I don't think this is as foundation shaking as it seems. I'm just asking. It was a question that my friend and I had a conversation about this week, and we asked ourselves this question. And we're both of a similar age, have had similar experiences, upbringings. There's forks in the road on our life paths, including levels of success, traumas and tragedies, all those things. We're individuals, but in many ways, we're in the same spot. And this was what we were talking about in our private conversation last week. But I thought it was important to spin this off into something public in terms of just the theme. How come we don't love ourselves? And how can we get there? There's a lot of paths there. And I'm not here to say one is the best or there's only one way to do it. And I'm not here to even talk about all the ways. There's religious paths. Spiritual paths, doing the work, self-discovery, therapy paths. There's the success path. Would you like to donate to me a huge chunk of change? I might be able to love myself a lot easier if that's the case there. I don't know if that'll fix anything, but it'd be nice. I'll give it a shot. If anyone wants to unburden themselves of a large amount of money, let me know. But my friend and I this week asked ourselves this question. And we kind of wanted to figure out what we could maybe do in our own lives to start the process. But that starts with trying to understand what that really means. And why don't I love myself? What about me don't I like? Because as I said up top, and this is something that I mean dearly, like I actually do like myself. I actually do. There was a great interview with Will Forte years ago. It might have been Marin. I don't know. But Will Forte, one of my favorite comedic performers out there, SNL, former Groundling alum, all that stuff. He was in an interview, and it was talking about how, like, there's kind of 3 layers to him. And this really resonated with me. The first layer is like, yeah, no, I believe in myself. Yeah, I think I'm funny. I think I'm good. Yeah, absolutely. I know I'm here for a reason. Yeah, this is good. And then the second layer is, oh no, you're complete shit. You're complete shit. You are worth nothing. You have no value. You're a complete fraud, not just in your career, but in your life. But buried beneath that is an absolute insane amount of ego. I guess that could describe a lot of performers. I think it also could describe a lot of humans. And when I heard that interview, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I just remember thinking, yeah, that tracks. And it's not necessarily an answer, but it's a step toward an answer. But it's also more confusing. And that here we are in 2025, and it's still confusing to me. Why don't I love myself? I do kind of like myself. I do kind of like the life I lead. There's a lot of things I'd like to have, go better for me. Sure, who would not be able to say that? But you know what I mean? As much as I battle depression and been stuck in deep thoughts about, and sometimes, like I said, obsessed with ending it, as I will say it here on YouTube and the podcast, over the course of my life. Despite all that, like at the end of the day, like no, and I like myself. And in fact, I could proudly say, even though the dark, thorny thoughts do find their way, I said thorny, the thorny thoughts do find their way into my life these days. I like living. I like being here. I don't want to have to go. I'm not going to hold on to it. I don't want to have to go. So I guess the first thought as I look ahead to my week, and I don't have like assignments. I'm not giving myself assignments. It's the thought that's kind of dominating. As I look at my week and I fill in the blanks of my schedule and I firm up the shows I got to do. I think I got some guest appearances this week. Hopefully get a stand-up show at the end of the week. Had some fun last week and, living life and doing shows and watched Game 7 of the World Series on the patio at the Comedy Store. That was kind of a iconic experience, legendary moments, just being around such a large group of people watching one of the greatest baseball games I've ever seen. I'm looking ahead for this next week, and I'm like, yeah, but on the list is we got to figure this out. And I guess you could say there's some pat kind of things to say about, until you love yourself, you probably can't love other people properly. You probably can't accept the love of other people properly. It all kind of starts with self-love. And so that's where I go. What is self-love? I'm talking about emotional love, you horny thirst dogs. What does it mean to me? Self-love. Loving myself. I don't know. I struggle with ego in other people. I struggle with others' hubris. I struggle with others who are confident in a certain way. It's been a problem my whole life. If you stroll into a room like you own it, I probably hate you. I probably don't like you. Or I probably put up some walls. But those walls are probably, certainly, most definitely, mirrors. When I see someone walk in with self-assurance, I think to myself, why can't I? But I don't know if that's self-love. It just might be confidence. And in many cases, it is pure ego. I don't like ego. Even though, as a performer, I have it. And you got to have it. I think my opinions are the only ones that are right. They're facts. The opinions I have are 100% fact. That's how entertainment is built. I believe that. So when you hear me go on a rant on a show, I probably truly believe that In-N-Out is really bad, whether you like it or not. But beneath that is the middle surface where I'm just like, I don't care, and In-N-Out's probably really good, and I don't mind it, and it's just entertainment. But then beneath all that, as Will Forte would say, it's the thought of, but no, most definitely In-N-Out. In-N-Out's horrible. That I don't want any part of that in a real sense. In an entertaining sense, I like being in on the joke. And if you listen to my shows on the Blathering, I like it when people are in on the joke. This is all real. I'm being authentic, but we're entertaining people. That's what we do. That's what I do. But when it comes to turning these lights off and shutting down this microphone, I don't love myself. And I think for years I've confused, loving myself means I'd be full of myself. Loving myself means I'd be that person that walks into the room and others think, get this guy out of here. So I think because of that, and in combination with the fact that I'm not confident or have struggled with self-confidence or belief in myself and love myself and all those things for years and years and years and years, I think that's it's a deadly mix that leaves me just blank when it comes to trying to understand how I can truly love myself. So I'm trying to untangle that first. And do you out there have a clear grasp on what that means? Do you understand in your own way what self-love is and how it can be separated from a sense of pride and ego and hubris? What's the difference? Because I think once I unlock that, I'll be able to start building up the love for myself. Because again, it's not even when I fail in some of my creative endeavors, I often say it's because I wasn't in tune with myself. I wasn't standing on my 2 feet and being present in the moment. And all that is true, but I don't know if that's a lack of self-love. But in this conversation I was having with my friend, we both kind of agreed, and he's a performer as well, that, yeah, maybe it does have something to do with it. And not to take this conversation into some talk in circles and getting confusing in my own brain here, but I think there is a fine line between this overinflated sense of self-importance and ego and just being yourself and loving yourself. We often talk about being kind. I've talked about it here. Be kind to yourself. Be fair to yourself. Last week, my lesson was just kind of go with the flow. Don't grip on, don't white knuckle your plans for the week or what you got to do. And if anything upsets that, and I did pretty good last week. Just kind of going with the flow a little bit. So those are some of the building blocks to understanding how to love myself, I think. But I think if you truly, or if I can truly unlock what it means to love myself, I think that makes me truly better for other people in my life. That makes me truly better as a performer. When I have not succeeded as a stand-up comic, when I have not succeeded as a writer or as an entertainer, like the real fall-in-your-face moments, and they happen more often in stand-up because it's more of a high-wire act. When I have those moments, and I think even when I have them in relationships, not friendships, but actual relationships, but maybe friendships too. When I have those moments where I fall flat on my face, it is probably because I'm not liking the person in that situation. Me. Talking about me. I think for years, one of the struggles I've had with all of my creative endeavors, all of them, but especially stand-up comedy, is for years I thought I had to become a better comic. But it just, looking back, the journey was actually becoming the best version of me. My moments of success in stand-up, and I've shared some clips recently that were some of my favorite. Check them out here on the channel or listen to them. If you're on the podcast, go to the YouTube channel and listen to them. There are moments where the words aren't necessarily different, the jokes aren't different, but the moments are organic. The moments are me. The moments are me really plugged into the energy of the room, the energy of the audience, and my own energy, and being happy with myself. The moments where I'm like, ooh, that didn't work, it's because I hated myself in that situation. I didn't love myself in that situation. When the relationships I've had have crumbled or friendships have fallen apart, I can absolutely point fingers at other folks. That's fun. Who doesn't love pointing goddamn fingers at the people who've wronged you or the people who you are no longer attached to? Oh, man, finger pointing is fun. And if you want to insert when you point one finger, you got like 3, or you got a thumb and 3 pointing back. Yeah, it's great. But it's true. It's true. Those moments of failure are about me not loving myself in the situation because I'm not actually attuned with me. I'm not actually being me, and therefore you're not present, or you're not in the right spot for the other people in your life. Again, always put the caveat, there's sometimes where separations or ending of friendships or the changing of the guard are for the better. Different conversation. There are seasons in life. But the moments where I'm like, man, I did wrong there. I let them down wrong there. I can look back now and say, it was a lack of self-love, a self-understanding, maybe even a self-worth, not being happy with myself in the situation, therefore not being my true self. And when you're not your true self, you're either going to function on anger, you're going to function on sadness, you're going to function on doubt, you're going to function on fear, you're going to function on ego. How many arguments have we had in our lives where you just kind of maybe realize I might be wrong, or this doesn't matter to me as much as I thought at the start of this conversation, or I'm just acting out based on something else, but yet you can't turn around. You're functioning on ego. Those are the building blocks. Those are the obstacles, I should say, to better building blocks of self-love. And those are the things I'm trying to untangle this week. And I'm not going to do it all this week. Matter of fact, my friend and I, we might be self-love buddies, checking in and trying to figure out what that means. I don't know. Tonight, after I record this show and get it prompt and ready to release to all of you out there, tonight after, I might have some ice cream. That's not great for my health. It's not great for my fitness journey, especially as I sit sweating in this hot studio on a rather hot November night in Burbank. Having that ice cream, it's not a good thing, but not beating myself up for it seems like maybe a bit of self-love. But is that the answer? Is ice cream the answer? Self-love and ice cream. Are they all intertwined? I don't necessarily know. I'm asking. My friend and I are asking. Because when I'm on stage, and when he's on stage, when we're all doing our lives, we're out there living, when we're not in those moments, we like who we are, we like where we are, but we don't love ourselves in those situations. Is it just about simply being kind to ourselves, or is it something deeper and bigger? And yes, more spiritual. I absolutely believe it is. But how do I get there? What are the first steps? What are the first steps to loving yourself? I'm going to ask myself that this week. You ask yourself that this week. And maybe we'll get an answer. This is step one of a larger journey. I keep asking myself, and I've asked before, hey, imagine what you could do if you believe in yourself. Imagine what you could do if you could motivate yourself. Imagine what you could do if you just had that confidence in yourself. I think all that begins with the simple question. Imagine what you could be if you just loved yourself. In the absence of self-love, there's others around you to lift you up. There's other things and other sources and other power that might help you, that you might turn to. Dealer's choice on what you want. But this was the final obstacle, my friend and I both agreed. We've been told nice things by a lot of people in our lives for years. I love you. Jesus loves you. Your friends love you. Your partner loves you. Your dog loves you. I believe in each and every one of those things if they've been said to you and you accept. Yeah, got it. But I still don't love myself. All that's just words. Now we got to take those steps. Ice cream and self-love. That might be part of the plan. It's Monday morning show. Our week has begun. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you saw it earlier on Patreon or the YouTube channel membership page, thank you for supporting there. If you saw it on YouTube, hey, leave a like, leave a comment, hype the video up. Join the community here. Catch the Blathering live every week. We have a lot of fun over there, even when we get serious. I'm out for now. We got some questions to ask. Maybe we'll get the answers. See you next time here on a Monday Morning Show.